Yep, it's another Monday and I can't help myself. I need to talk and I need to tell you all about the phlegmatic man at the bus stop. Yes.
She's all about that game. Don't go and fall in love with that girl. She will only cause you pain. Don't think she loves you, she don't mean it. Just look the other way. She's coming at you, you better run before she leaves your heart in vain. She is cold.
Hi guys, Liz here, aka Isabel Sharon, aka Liz for Paris Adored, Bondi Babe, and all my bots. Welcome to another Coffee with Isa. I don't know why I don't just call it Coffee with Liz. I mean, but because the channel's name is Isabel Sharon, which is my name virtually, I always refer to myself as Isa, but actually, you know, my name's Liz and I always introduce myself as Liz. So you can call me Liz if you want. I don't mind. Yeah, apparently I was born with that name. Yeah, I was. Anyhow, welcome to another coffee. Oh my God. Do you know, it's with hesitance I'm going to work today. I'll tell you why. I've been away from work for a week now. I've actually been on a course for the last week. I've been doing health and safety because I'm becoming a health and safety workplace rep as well as a normal rep. And can I just say how absolutely interesting the course has been. I have just been, do you know when you walk into something and you think, oh, this is going to be really boring? Apart from the fact there are like 16 men there. That's so not boring, let me tell you. Not boring at all. You know, you after you go into courses, you think, yeah, this is going to be a long week. But in actual fact, every single day, it's been a long week, I will say, but every single day I learned something new. And it's all stuff I kind of like wish I knew ages ago. The information I've learnt this week would have so benefited me, you know, over the last few years. And I'm like, why didn't I not know this? Why did I not know this? So it's been a great thing to do. And from where I sort of went to it going, oh, I suppose I should. Yeah, I better go. I've actually come away from it. And this has been my first week on the course because I've got another sort of block week to do in March. But I've come away with it away from it, I should say, really excited and really keen to, you know, practice some of the things I've learned, which, the managers are not going to like. They're not going to like it all. Now I know what they can and cannot do. You know, it's funny, in the workplace, you believe what you're told most of the time, unless you've read it somewhere or you Googled it or you Siri'd it. You tend to believe what managers tell you that they can and cannot do. I tend not to anyhow because I'm a very inquisitive person and I always think, nah, you're having me on. I'm not that stupid. But on the whole, you tend to believe what they tell you. I mean, the most average people do. You sort of go, oh yeah, okay, yeah, I'll do that, yeah, I'll do that. The things I've learned this week about health and safety and how things are done are absolutely like a minefield to me. I mean, you know, some of the practices that some of the people at work, and I can't really touch on it because obviously I'm not supposed to talk about the organisation I work for, which I won't, but some of the practices of some of the people, I'm so pleased to be going into the workplace this week and I'm going to go, aha, we need to visit this and we need to do a risk assessment on this. This isn't right. Things that I've thought were okay, I'm like blown away when I've realised that actually they breach some things for health and safety, and by God they shouldn't, and yet these managers go on and carry on and lead you to that false sense of that's how it's done. So all I can say is I've learned so much in the last week and I've really thoroughly enjoyed it. What I love about it as well is when you're in any union training, you get your regular breaks. Unlike at work when, it's very hard to get away from your desk or wherever you're working. It's very hard to take a break and refresh yourself. The one thing the union are really good at is making sure you have your regular breaks. So I've really enjoyed that. I've so enjoyed getting to know some people. There was a guy on my course this week who was on my course last year, so it was really nice to catch up with him. And then there was a whole bunch of new guys on this one. Some of the language I've learned has been colourful. I do. Do you know what? I'm no prude, and I really don't care. If someone swears in front of me, if I don't like it, I'll tell them, don't do that. But you know what? It's on the whole, it doesn't bother me. And what was really interesting, it was these men work in solely male environments. They're miners. They work with lead. So they work with dangerous substances. So people working with lead, it's not really a woman-orientated sort of workplace. And the reason for that is levels of lead can affect women's fertility, etc. So men's capabilities to work with lead is a lot more sort of stronger than a female's. And so most of these guys, apart from two sectors, one was a driving sector, so truck drivers, and most of them were in sort of really, sort of very male-dominated working environments. And this past week, I had two ladies join me on the course. So one of them works in a bank, and the other works for the airports. It's been a really different course, and we all come from various sectors, like various types of workplaces. So it's been so interesting, and it's so interesting to listen to the men and the types of work they do. I just love it. I just love learning about what people do, because most of the time you go through your life and you do your job, you go home, you do your job, you go home, and you don't stop and think what, Joe Blow down the road does. Or actually you don't stop and think, how did that lead get on that building? Who made that? And like the lead people that I were talking to, it was really interesting. I know I'm going to go on about this. I can't. I'm so excited. They're actually an Australian company. I didn't know there was an Australian company over here, but they're an Australian company run by Australians. And basically the Australians mine the lead and then they ship it over here. And then it's processed or whatever it is done to it. I mean, I didn't get that intricate, I kind of yawned at that point when they were trying to explain that to me. But it was really fascinating. It's absolutely fascinating. And the stuff that they work with and how dangerous it is. I know I'm sounding excited because it's dangerous. But seriously, you take for granted when you go to work each day, you go into your office and, you take for granted that, you go to work, you're safe on the whole. And then you talk to these men that, they actually risk their lives, some of them. Every single day they risk their lives with what they can ingest, chemicals, huge machinery that's really dangerous. And you think, wow. But then when you look at how much they earn, you think, no, that's rubbish. Seriously. I look at some of their wages and I think, are you kidding me? Are you really kidding me? You need to be paid like so much more. It's just not right to me. It's absolutely not right. But there you go. So it's been a mind-blowing week, and I have really, really enjoyed it. And I'll probably go on about it for weeks to come because it was just so fascinating. I just learned so many different things about, how different workplaces are. And the one thing, I've got to tell you this, right? Part of health and safety is about consideration for putting risk assessments in place and making sure that the workplace is a safe environment, looking at equality, making sure that you're taking into account equality. So anyway, we were talking about disabled restrooms, right? So a lot of us take a disabled restroom for granted. Okay, so it's the norm. It has to be, all places have a disabled parking, a disabled restroom, make sure that there's disabled facilities, right? Now, on on a few of these workplace sites, right, because we had a bit of a debate about this, they said, well, we don't have disabled people. And I was like, why not? Because I go right into one. Why not? Well, Liz, you can't have disabled people doing what we do. Why not? And we had this like really big debate, but then after they'd finished, I actually kind of like understood why, because in particular this one lot, the miners, the guys that do the refinery and the mining and the lead and stuff, the way the buildings are constructed. It's really bizarre. They have to rebuild these buildings to enable disabled people to enter it and leave it. But the funniest thing, and this isn't funny, but it is funny, is I said, well, so do you have disabled toilets? Yes, we do. Okay. And so then therefore you cater for disabled. No, we don't. So why do you have disabled toilets if you don't sort of cater for disabled people working there or being able to come in a building? Right, are you sitting down? Listen to this, right? So basically, on their work floor, there is a disabled toilet. Brilliant, there's a disabled toilet. Now, here comes the best bit. In order to get to the work floor, you have to go up 2 flights of stairs and over like a gangway. There is no lift. There's no ability to have disabled access, and even the door frames are too narrow for a wheelchair access. And so I just said to him, so why is there a disabled toilet in an area where disabled people can't enter? And they just looked at me and they went, I don't know. I have to admit, I did laugh because I'm like, who thought of doing this? Who thought of making a disabled toilet in an area we can't actually get to? It was just like, of all the lamest things I've ever heard. And then the best bit is, oh, you're going to love this. So you go back down the stairs, there's the restaurant, right? So they've got a work canteen kind of restaurant. In order to get to the restaurant, you have to go through this gangway that's quite narrow, through this corridor that's very narrow, that couldn't accommodate a wheelchair. But inside the restaurant is a specific area for wheelchairs access. Like, so within the restaurant, so there's an area for wheelchairs to be able to access through, and seating areas for wheelchairs to be able to go underneath the tables and that kind of thing. But you can't get in there. And I'm like, right. So basically, what you'd need to be able to do is, if you're wheelchair bound, is be able to get up and walk and then pop yourself back on a chair when you get through. That's the most bizarrest thing I've ever heard. So I just said, you need to go back to the workplace and do a risk assessment. Oh God, I've never laughed so much. But the other thing is, you're talking about obviously equality and toilets. Okay, so toilets for males and females, and shower facilities, specifically in the lead one, because there is one woman there, but she's in the office. But I said, you don't discriminate against women working here, do you? You know, there, do you? Oh, no. If a woman wants to apply, but generally they prefer women who have had their children. And I understand why, because of the dangers of to their fertility, because of the sort of levels of lead. That's perfectly understandable. And it's very rigorous health checks that happen then, blood tests and all that. They have them quite regularly, which is quite good to hear, actually. But I said, so you do have toilets if a woman should come and work there. Oh, yeah. Okay. Get this. In order to get to the toilets, you have to walk through the male-only shower room to get to the female toilet. I kid you not. Whoever sat down and designed this building was high as a kite. That's all I can say. And I'm like, are you kidding me? I say you're kidding me. So I said to him, okay, so the woman would have to walk through. Is there anywhere for her to go and shower? No, it's a communal area. So I said, I said, if I was the woman coming through, I actually wouldn't have a problem, personally, walking through a bunch of naked men. Oh, no, I wouldn't have a problem with that. But I said, if I was the one having a shower, hell yes, I'd have a problem with that. No one's walking through. Oh, but that's okay, Liz, because we wouldn't walk through because our toilets are before the showers. I'm like, okay, yeah, there is that. And then I asked them, is there a sanitary bin in the toilets? What do we need one of those for, Liz? I think it's that stage I was honestly, I was laughing so much. And I was laughing so much because they genuinely were like, huh? And it was a brilliant week, and I learnt so much because, some workplaces women never really enter, and that's for various safety reasons or physical reasons where actually the job might impact on them. And from the sound of it, these were very heavy lifting jobs. Not saying that women can't do it, but the majority of women probably wouldn't choose to do it. But, they're open to that. It's just so funny. Oh, I never laugh so much. But, I just learned some really quirky and interesting things. And you know what? They were laughing too, and they go, do you know what, Liz? We've never ever really stopped and thought about this. And I said, well, really, you need to go back and you need to talk to them about equality in the workplace and about, making sure that all these areas for both disabled and for gender specific is meeting compliance, because this is just not good. I'm just like, oh God. And then the best bit was and one guy said to me, he said, well, Liz, we can't really have disabled people in here. He said, we can't have wheelchairs. And I said, you do realise disability isn't necessarily a wheelchair? Yeah. I said, but you do realise it? And he said, nobody disabled works with us. And I said, how would you know? Oh, no, they're all fit. I'm like, if someone has a mental health issue, some are considered disabled by that mental health issue. Oh, no, Liz, there's no one like that. Oh my God. Oh, it was so enlightening. But can I just say what a bunch of really nice guys. Obviously, we're talking guys that have been in this kind of sector for like 30 years. So they only know one thing in terms of the workplace for them. They've never worked anywhere else. They started out in the sort of mining industry, and that's where they've been all their working lives. So it was a very, very interesting to meet them. And everyone else is kind of like familiar with, equality and stuff, but they weren't. I'm going to see them all again in March for another week of this. I can't wait, actually. I really can't wait. But anyhow, every day I was going to work. I obviously was going to work a bit later. I wasn't going to work, I was going to this course, but it's near my work. So every day I'd get the bus a bit later because I didn't have to start so early in the morning. And I was getting a bus, and this man kept getting on the bus and kept looking at me. I just ignored him. So on the Tuesday, he'd get on the bus in the afternoons. But on the Tuesday, I was at the bus stop waiting to go home. I thought, why is he here at the same time? Anyhow, he was inside the bus station area and I stand outside. So he walks outside, he lights up a cigarette, and he's... And I'm thinking, oh, go away. Number one, I don't smoke. And number two, I can't stand phlegm. He was phlegming. Oh, God, it was disgusting. And then he looked at me and went, hello. And every second tooth was missing out of his mouth. Can I just say this? I have a thing about teeth. It's one of the big things to me. I do like a man with teeth in his mouth. Every second tooth was missing. And big, huge gold earring in his ear. He was smoking a joint. Yeah. He was smoking a joint at the bus stop. And every now and then he was spitting on the ground. And he's trying to talk to me, and I'm like, yeah. And I just wanted to hurl. I really did, because I can't stand phlegming, and he was constantly doing that. He was coughing and then he was spitting, and I was like, oh my God, this is so disgusting. So I thought, okay, I'll get on the bus. I get on the bus. No word of a lie, he sits in front of me. And then he turns his head round, and I'm thinking, oh, God. So I quickly put my head in my phone and put my earphones in. But the thing was, every morning this week he was on my bus, and he kept trying to catch my eye. Every afternoon at the bus stop, he'd deliberately walk outside where I was standing and talk to me, and I was like, yeah. Is the bus been? No, it's coming soon. Oh, I've had a long day. What's your day been like? And I'm normally polite, but I think if he wasn't phlegming constantly and smoking, I probably would have stopped and talked to him more. But I was feeling like throwing up. It was horrible, absolutely horrible. Can someone tell me why you guys and some women feel the need to go, please explain that to me. I find it absolutely gross. It is so gross. I just really hate spitting. It's one of the worst things you can do in front of me is spit. You can swear, you can jump up and down, you can fart. Honestly, you can burp, fart, whatever. But spit in front of me, rise that phlegm in your throat and throw it out. No, it just does nothing for me. And the worst bit is that he kept staring at me and I'm thinking, I think he fancies me. Just like, oh no, I've pulled at the bus stop. Just like, mind you, I suppose beggars can't be choosers. I say, if that's how I'm going to pull. Just like, God. But the other thing is, in the afternoons, you get all the school kids on the bus because at the time I finish my course, all the school kids are on the bus. I'm really famous on my real life Facebook for moaning. Honestly, I do. But you go to the bus station and generally what happens is you're there at the front of the queue and the little bastards, they come along. Yeah, they come along in droves, and I'm talking to you droves because they've left school and rather than get on their bus and go home, oh no, they've gone into town, they've gone to Starbucks or Costa Coffee. They've had their little congregation, they've had their chat, they've had their cigarettes, I even see school kids walking along with vapes. How mad is that? It's cool now to vape. I mean, really, I just don't get that. But anyhow, so you're standing at the bus stop. You are first in the queue. That'd be me. And then there's probably about 4 elderly people behind me. The little buggers, there's about 12 of them, suddenly push through and stand in front of you. Every single day they do that. And I'm like, don't annoy me. Do not do it. And I'm always at the bus stop with the same elderly people. So today, when I'm at the bus stop this afternoon, my plan is, because I spoke to some of these elderly people on Friday, my plan today is that when I get to the bus stop, I'm going to say to them, right, all of you, let's join forces and let's block the doorway. And when this old man went to me, oh, what a good idea. So we are going to stand there like in a sort of like line and block the doorway so they can't get through. I know it's so childish, but my God, it's going to be so much fun. So much fun. I'm just going to thoroughly enjoy doing that. Little buggers. So, honestly, you want to be on the buses here in the UK with schoolies. It is just a dire nightmare. And you sit on there and it's bad enough that they have to talk this loud. Did you see what he did? That's how loud they talk. My neighbours must be hearing me now thinking, what the hell is she doing up there? So you get all that, and I'm sitting there going, yeah, I can hear you. Oh, yeah, did you see what he did? He fingered her. Oh, yeah, she had 2. And oh, yeah, I got so drunk. And I'm sitting there, and these are like 11 and 12-year-olds. And I'm thinking, what? And sometimes I sit there and think, am I that old? Am I that out of touch? But then I remind myself when I was that age, do you know what? I wasn't doing that. What the hell? Neither were my kids, actually. They didn't do that, not as far as I know. I'm sure they didn't, actually. Mine are good children. But seriously, when you're on the bus, this is what you hear. And then the other thing you need to be aware of on the UK buses, because there are no such things as bus conductors. If you used to watch On the Buses in the olden days in the 70s, they used to have bus conductors. Well, they don't have that now. You just have a bus driver, and the bus driver, the bus driver on Friday, oh my God, he was such a treat. There's a few of these bus drivers can't stand kids. They really can't. And they hate the bus run when the kids are getting on. So this one bus driver, every time someone got on the bus, let's say of the younger persuasion, he would get in the back of the bus. Don't stand there, move to the back. That's all you heard. Every stop. Could you get down the back? Sit down. Stop swearing. If you don't stop swearing, I'm getting you off the bus. And this is what I had all the way home. I couldn't stop laughing. Just like... I'm thinking that poor bus driver must be so stressed. I would hate to do his job. It is a nightmare. And the other thing that you got to tolerate is the flying food. I normally get hula hoops going up above me. sweets of a variety. Sometimes sandwiches fly through the air. So I've taken to putting on my headphones, sort of zoning out. What I normally do on the bus ride home is my links to my blog, and I'll do them on the Facebook and put them on all the groups on Facebook on the way home, with music blaring in my ears, because otherwise I'm sure my stress levels will go. You're getting older when actually the things that you think in your head start to slip out your mouth, yeah? Those swear words and those things that you think in your head? Well, mine are starting to slip out my mouth, so hence I put the headphones in and zone out, because I'm sure one day I'll be arrested for really bad language. Really bad language, although I doubt my language is any worse than theirs. In fact, I learn quite a few things from these people. Bus ride home. I just gotta love it. Most people in my real life know about my bus trips, because I tend to status update on Facebook often about it, and I call them the schoolies. The schoolies are on the bus. And I'll moan about them. The other thing I normally moan about, actually, when I'm on the bus, is not just the schoolies, it's also the men. Yeah, I don't moan about really, really hunky men. I mean, if you want to come sit next to me, please do. I don't moan about those. I moan about the men in summer that get on the bus and they've got no shirt on. Yeah, and they're sweating, and they're hairy, and they're sweating, and they sit next to me and they sweat on me. I moan about them, and they smell. What is it? And the thing is, if you're in Australia and you're by the beach, or anywhere and you're by the beach, that's kind of okay, And even then in Australia, most people throw a t-shirt on. Yeah. Here in England, I live in a town. There's no beach by me. So it's a sunny day and it's hot. It's blaring hot. It's a whole 21 degrees Celsius. So it's time to get the shorts on, take the shirts off, and expose those white bodies. Oof. Let me tell you, the sights that I see in my lunch breaks, walking to and from the bus stop and on the bus, leave a lot to be desired. I actually feel physically sick by the time I get home because I see some sights that I think you should put some clothes on. Yeah, put some clothes on. And often, I don't know why men feel the need to take off their shirt and walk around in the middle of town without their shirt on, because they might just get a ray of sunshine in between the tall buildings. Never sure how that works. But yeah, that's another thing. Teeth and sweaty bodies. I only like sweaty bodies on certain occasions, yeah. Not sitting next to me on a bus. Nah. So I can't. I'm just like, so yeah, I often status update that on Facebook. My Facebook is, because I've got a real life one, I do have a real life, and I have a virtual one. My virtual one tends to be mostly my blog things, or taking the absolute mickey out of certain friends that I've got on there. But my real life one tends to be sarcastic, very sarcastic. And I do sarcastic updates now and then. Sometimes I'll do quite serious updates about things that are happening with me. If it's like a union type thing, I'll suddenly update, last week it was, talk to someone day here on the 1st of February, and it's about mental health awareness and stuff. So I'll put like serious stuff on there, but on the whole, I'm quite sarcastic, and I have a sort of, dig, or I put really sarcastic pictures on. And that's kind of like how I roll. I try not to air my dirty laundry on Facebook. Although I do film my son's laundry and put the video on Facebook. I also film his room with the dirty dishes. His room is feral. Oh my God, his room is feral. But, he's an adult, so I can't really, apart from shout at him and go, for God's sake. I leave him in his pit. He works, it's his stuff, whatever. I've just said, I made it clear to him, I said, when you move out, which please do it soon, seriously, please do it soon. When he moves out, I've told him that that room will be freshly painted by him, and I will want the carpet pulled up and a new one laid down. So that room is absolutely perfect. He just looks at me like, yeah, right. And I've said to him, I said, listen here, Sonny, you will be doing that and you will be invoiced. And if you think you're not going to pay that invoice, I'll take a small claim against you. And he's like, you wouldn't? I went, yeah, I would. Yeah, I would. So you live in it how you want, but you'll get the bill at the end. I think he thinks I'm joking. I'm not joking. I'm serious. Do you know what? I did that once. Well, not quite like that. Some years ago, because I work in debt recovery. I mean, that's... I don't know if I've ever told you this, but I work in finance, debt recovery. And I'm a nice debt recovery person, by the way, because I know what it's like to be in debt. So I'm very nice, but I'm really hard on people. It's social care, debt recovery, so it's very different from what you might be thinking. So my son wasn't paying his board because, I mean, he works and he wasn't paying his board. And I'm like, I'm not rich. I can't maintain you. I can't do this. I can't do that. And I got sick of saying anything to him. So I said to this guy at work, I'm like beyond pulling my hair out. He's not contributing and I'm struggling. So what he did was, my colleague wrote him a letter on official paper. So he wrote my son a letter and said, it's been brought to our attention that you've not been paying for your household needs. And basically said that he had 10 days in which to comply or he will be evicted. And went into all he wrote it in a very jargon type way, very official way, and it was on proper headed paper and signed, and gave him a 10-day and a phone number to ring and everything. Do you know what? My son got the letter, and he sent it recorded delivery. This is the best bit. My son got the letter and he hid it. He hid it from me. And then I think it was 2 days before the payment was due. He come to me, Mum, I need to talk to you. And I went, what's up? I got this letter and I think I'm going to be kicked out. Can you pay my rent for me? And I'm like, are you stupid? Are you? I said, are you stupid? I said, who am I paying a rent to? Well, they said I have to pay the rent. I said, yeah, you need to pay it to me, son. Do you know what? I laughed about that for quite a long time because I just thought that is the most genius thing ever. And I think all parents should do that. All parents should actually start to invoice their children when they're not contributing. Because you know what? We're not hotels. Unfortunately, I'm a single woman. I'm on my own. And so I pay all the bills, absolutely everything. And I rent, and it's a very high rent. Because where I live in England, southeast England, it's a very expensive sort of zone of England to rent. To buy is even worse. So, most of my wages go on rent and bills. I mean, I don't really see anything at the end of my my month of bill paying. So, when your kids stay at home, which I understand why, because it's so hard for them to leave home. I mean, it's so expensive. But when they stay at home and then they think they can go on holidays all the time. My son goes away about 4 or 5 times a year. Go on holidays to Sweden, to Barcelona, Spain, Paris, Austria, Germany, Czechoslovakia. Yeah. And they think that they can do that and then regularly go shopping, go out for nights in London, that kind of thing. I start to think, hang on a minute, I'm not rich. And my son is very guilty of that. But you know what? He's not alone. They're all like it. All these little buggers are like it. And I think the thing is, we do, I know I do. I don't pander to my kids, but I'm aware that I want them to have better than, I guess, a lot of other people do. So I've always made life a little bit easier. I don't spoil them as such, but I make life easier. But I think that's my failing by making life easier, because I'm never going to get rid of the bloody bugger. He's never going to leave home. Why would you leave home? Why would you leave home when you can do all these things and live in a really nice home and have your dinners cooked and your washing done? Oh, no, I tell a lie. I don't do his washing anymore. But, everything's done for you. Why would you leave home? And I have this feeling that, I'm going to be one day 80 years old and I'm going to have this, 60-odd-year-old living with me. What a scary thought. What a scary thought. No, actual fact, it won't be that way. He's actually staying at home. Apparently he's staying at home till he's 30. I was like, oh, really? Yeah, he informed me of that. I'm going to stay home till I'm 30 because him and his girlfriend, who he's been with for 10 years now, they're, teenage sweethearts, have been saving for a mortgage, and they calculated with their ISA that they invested in that, they're going to be able to afford the mortgage when they turn 30. And I'm like, are you kidding me? I'll be dead by then. I would have had no life. I would have had no man round for the night. I would have had, oh my God. And by the time that they do leave, she doesn't live here, but she's here a lot of the time. By the time they do move out, I won't know how to do it. That's a real, you know what? He's got to go. He really has to move out. I've only got a short window of time left. Oh, so funny. Anyhow, I think I've rambled on for long enough now. So this was another Coffee with Isa, me rambling about my last week. So I'm probably going to introduce something different in Coffee with Isa in the next couple of weeks. I'm not saying yet because I have a couple of people to consult. But I hope you have a brilliant week in whatever world that you're in. And I look forward to seeing you as always. And thank you for still subscribing to me, even though I rant. Yes, I know, I do it often. I like to keep you on your toes and have a little moan about something. Hence my rants about YouTube and stuff and blah, 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 blah. It's all in the rich tapestry of life. Yes, it is. And as always, if this is the first time you're listening to this and you would like to come again, please feel free to subscribe and also tap the little bell by the subscribe button, because you don't get notified unless you tap that. Otherwise, you don't see the videos for a week after they come out. There you go. See, I've done it. I've done self-promotion. Are you impressed? I'm promoting thyself the organic way. That's right, the organic way. Anyhow, have a great week. See you later. Bye-bye.